Hey, what's up, Beyond the Letter family? Good to see you on this week, no matter when you're watching this, whether it's right when we drop on Sundays or some other time during the week, or maybe you're listening to this on a drive or while doing something. You know, today's episode was really good. The only problem was we've been doing this podcast for October will be 3 years, and we haven't really had a technical difficulty like this. And so there were some issues with our cameras. It didn't pick up Heron's microphone. And so we've done some doctoring. The team has fixed it, but there wasn't really good video footage that made sense for kind of what we were talking about. So today's episode is completely audio, okay? So if you're used to watching us on Beyond the Letter, that's going to be hard to do for this episode. But I enjoyed the conversation so much. Some of you watched the recent Beyond I Do episode with my wife on how we talked about words, really just like we went through stories, but also kind of the newest episode was on words of affirmation, how we feel about each other. Well, I did that with some of my friends, Aaron and Heron, and it was such a great episode. I didn't want to just cancel it or reshoot something else. You definitely can't redo what we did. And so I figured we'd drop it in audio. So if you're sitting on the couch, figure to do something while you do it. You know, do the dishes, clean up a room, anything like that. Put this on a drive, because I still think this episode is absolutely incredible. And I think that you'll enjoy it. You know, people love our faith content, but also people love to see how we operate real life with our relationships here on Beyond the Letter. So can't wait for you to jump into the conversation. Let's go ahead and jump in to Beyond the Letter today. Well, you got built or something like that? Got
just trying to make moves.
Trying to handle things?
Hey, so I will say,
hit me. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Beyond the Letter. We got Aaron, Harry, Andy in the house.
If somebody was listening,
I'm 30 minutes late to
does
this
he have a
podcast.
cigar? No, that's a straw.
I got a straw. I'm stirring the sugar in my coffee today.
I sent a picture of that to Joseph. I said, "This is what a coffee looks like."
This is what a man looks like right here. Just espresso and tonic right there. That's it. One sugar. I could do it without a sugar, but I like a little pizzazz. You know what I'm saying? What were you gonna say?
I'm feeling good.
Why is that?
Cause I'm getting older.
We know that.
Back pain. Hip flexor. I haven't been running for 2 months. So then H, he had what was it? Your hamstring. Hamstring popped. Yep. He's showing pictures of rehab. I'm back. All right. Yeah. So I went to the chiropractor. Yep. You were there.
Oh yeah.
God, that was a traumatic moment for some.
Yeah. We can't talk about that.
Yeah. But then he sent me those videos.
Yes.
So when I first saw the videos, I'm like, I'm not doing this. Mm-hmm. I just want to go out there and run. Like, I don't know how to do it. So I was like, there's men that are like planking and side and this and that. And but I was like, I'm going to try it.
Doing movements a gangster don't do, right?
Well, here's the thing.
I saw a video this morning of a guy in the hood that was trying to, he said, man, I'm trying to see if there's a way to swing on a swing looking like a gangster. And he swung, his feet started dangling, and he stopped. He said, wait, hold on. He's like, wait.
So here's what
that's
happened.
How I imagine you doing yoga poses.
Earlier this week, Trinity has her friend over.
Okay.
But I'm doing my stretches. My door's open.
Oh,
right?
No.
And I'm just in compromised positions. It's like I'm playing Twister by myself.
For sure.
Right? So Trinity comes up.
You got any music going on? I just got to paint a picture. Or
no,
it's
I'm
the
being
person
directed
leading you.
by this, yes.
And what's their voice like? Are they like that? Are they like, and then next you're going to rotate?
No. It's manly.
Oh, it's like a guy like, all right, Aaron.
Next, you got to do this.
Because you a man.
Yeah. It's Tupac. Trinity looked, she said, Dad, what are you doing?
With her friend right there?
Yeah, I was like, shut the door.
You all tripping. You tripping on the floor trying to get to your door.
I don't want my daughter to see me all stretched.
Oh,
yeah. So, but I'm getting results. Ran this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, so feeling better. That's good.
That's it,
feeling
bro.
better, yeah.
That's good. You guys both got injured pretty nasty.
What's up with that?
You're getting old. You guys don't you don't prioritize recovery.
Yes.
See, I'm doing everything opposite from you guys.
So yeah, okay. you're doing everything pre and post workout.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm doing all recovery related things. So then as I work out, it's like, I'm ready to go. So, I did 30 minutes in the sauna today, 160 degrees.
Okay.
Sweated like crazy. Just finally, running power to that sauna has been an experience. So I've had the sauna since March, and I just barely, we're going into end of August, and I finally got electricity. I had so many electricians come out. They're like, oh, it's like you had to get, anyone who knows electricity, you had to get, they had to move like 100 amps for 40 amps of the sauna, which is a lot. So finally, it's finally done. And the electrician just wanted to help me out. He was just like, dude, I'll get you some credit. You get like, just pay me the rest of this week. Cause I was like, I can't cause he'd come and he'd be like, this is an expensive job. And I'm like, I can't. He's like, he's someone I know. He's been at the church a lot. He's like, I feel bad. This thing's just sitting here with no electricity. Let me help you. And cause it was a lot of money to run electricity to it on that side of the house. And then, so he just was like, pay me half now. And then, in the next couple months, just get me on installments. I'm good. I'm like, bro, okay. I didn't even ask for it, but I'm like, thank God. So now we have it. And I ran through this morning. I got my cold plunge right next to it. And
did you get in a cold plunge after?
Not today because I was running late. Okay. But it would have been easy to do it because I cold plunge now regardless without the sauna. So the cold plunge is easy after a sauna because you just sweat it like crazy and you were hot. So it's easy to jump into the water afterwards. It's getting into a cold plunge when
just
to go do even after you work out, maybe you're sweating a little bit, but your body's starting to cool down and the breeze is starting to hit your sweat. Yeah. And then you're like, okay, am I going to go in it? But, so yeah, man, I going into a sauna or cold plunge after a sauna. Yeah, that's not hard at all. Yeah.
So H is sending pictures of, I worked out 95 minutes straight. I burned 2,000 calories, and here's what I'm eating. It's like 2 pieces of broccoli.
Yeah.
So then thank you. And then I send a picture. I just ran 8 miles. And I'm doing stretches. And then Adam sends a picture. Yo, I'm in the sauna.
yeah. Just sweating in that sauna, boy, sweating. I listened to a Rich Wilkerson Jr. podcast in there.
Okay,
I was vibing, bro. I was like, I'm gonna go in for 15 minutes, and I was like, no, I'm just gonna keep going. So
how long should someone stay in a sauna?
They say 15 minutes.
Okay.
But I don't have a problem with heat, and I don't sweat fast. Okay. So like I didn't start sweating until 20 minutes in. Okay. Some people, the sauna is 160 degrees. That's how hot I got it up to. Average kind of infrared saunas, like 125, 130, I'm 30 degrees more than that. Mm-hmm. And I didn't start sweating until about 15, 20 minutes in, where most people go, like Ashley can go in, she sweats easy. Mm-hmm. I mean, minute 2, she towel, drenched floor, like I barely started sweating. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's like, I'm going to go in there until I start perspirating like crazy. Yeah. So I finally hit that around 20 minutes in, so I stayed about another 10 minutes after and just continued to sweat, Okay. But I got the one now. It's like you get the water, you could put the steam on the rocks and all that, and so you can get it, you can get it, like you could control the temperature like in a way that through the heat, not through like a little machine. It's like you got to play with the heat and get it right, but it's nice.
I went into a sauna with Erica. We're out of town, and I go in there, and I was like, I can't see, because I have my glasses on. So these just wouldn't steam me. I forgot. I was like, oh, there we go. Okay, okay.
The worst is like if you go into like a steam room and because I wear contacts and your contacts dry out.
Oh, shoot.
That's like irritating. You start feeling it, and you're like, or for me, I have asthma, and I've gone in steam rooms before where they're heavy infusing eucalyptus in it. And then it just like my lungs just start closing up, It's like, so I got to be kind of, when I go to a spa and stuff, I got to be really particular and like test it out at first so they don't mess with my asthma.
Yeah. And with the cold meat plunge, how long do you typically stay? Yeah, 3 minutes.
Yeah, you want to.
Is that max 3 minutes or?
You could go longer. The minimum is 2 minutes. Common maximum is 3 minutes. You could stay in a little bit longer, but I think at some point you can start going towards hyperthermia. I don't know for sure, but 3 minutes is very hard to do. 2 minutes is decently hard to do. 30 seconds is impossible. So that's the way cold plunge works. If you either make it past the impossible, which is 30 seconds, make it past the difficult, which is 2 minutes, then you make it past the 3 minutes, which is hard. It's weird how a cold plunge works. Those who cold plunge, it doesn't get progressively easier and it doesn't get progressively harder. It gets extremely hard, easier, harder as you go through it.
Because once I get in,
your body tells you get out, get out,
get out.
Yeah.
But then breathe, because I have to start breathing because it's oh my God. Yeah. But then once you start getting control of your breathing, all right, I can do this. For sure. It's oh God, it's only been 38 seconds.
Yeah. And then you hit about a minute and a half in, and then you start losing finger in your fillings in your fingers and stuff, and your toes. And that's what starts feeling cold first. It's your extremities, so those start getting really cold. So then you start telling yourself, well, I gotta get out of this. So you just gotta bust them. So for me, the way I'll cold plunge is I'll close my fist, I'll put them in between my thighs, and then because that's your warmest place of your body, and then I'll just focus, because some people keep their hands floated in the water like this, and it's that's kind of how most people do it. They get in it and then they kind of float their hands in the water like this, and I'm like, your fingers are gonna tell you you're colder first, so you close them, cover them, put them down in between your thighs, and they just kind of muscle through it. Same thing with your ears in a sauna. Your ears tell you you're hot faster than your body. So if your ears are hot or being burnt, it'll tell you get out. So they're actually known as sauna hats. They're like little beanies, and you put them over your ears so your ears don't burn, and you can actually sustain the heat longer. So it's a lot of tricks, What's a trick I get
angry? Do you ever feel heat behind your ears? Or in your ears?
I have before. Yeah, for sure. I mean, if I get embarrassed, if I get embarrassed, I feel that.
Okay.
I do my cheeks and in my ears, yeah.
Or once you do that, I was when I get angry, I feel heat behind my ears.
Yeah. Do you get angry a lot, Aaron? He told us about that.
Well, I asked some of the closest people to me, what emotion would you like to see more from me?
Yes.
And one of the emotions was anger.
Yeah. People want to see. Yeah. Should we do that on here?
Should we do what on here?
That exam to each other. We're all close brothers. Could we do that for a second? Because it's a cat. Because I didn't receive the same thing. I can go through the ones I did for you.
Yeah.
If you text. So Aaron read a book.
The Next Conversation.
This would be a great episode. Aaron read a book called The Next Conversation. Which what is the premise of it?
He's an attorney, and he was just talking about communication. It's a book about communication. Okay. You are an effective communicator. But he was talking about getting to know yourself more in that chapter.
Mm-hmm.
So he just gave a challenge of just ask these questions to people. So I asked the question, and I got some answers.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the questions. We'll let's go with Aaron first because I already have his, and then H, you could jump on it. Okay. Let me okay. Really quickly. Okay. I want to text this to you real quick, Aaron, so you have the question, so you're not wait, what are we doing? It's coming to you, so you'll be able to pull it up. Okay. So the premise of the question is, please answer these questions about me. It's from a book I'm reading. What do you think okay. So these are just the questions. Okay. So the question is, let me read what Aaron said to us, and then I'll read what I shared with Aaron. So, what do you think I find important in my life based on my daily conversations? What are 3 words you would use to describe my character to someone who doesn't know me? What topics of conversation do I get most enthusiastic about? What quality is most important to me in the friendships I have? What emotion do you wish I'd show more of? Okay. So here's what I said to Aaron in response. To Aaron's question, what do you think I find important in my life based on daily conversations? Your family, leaving a legacy, and ministry.
And then the second question, what are 3 words you would use to describe my character to someone who doesn't know me? Judicious, which is a really, structured, like they're very studious at being abiding with structure, abiding with words and kind of very judicious. Aaron says what he says, means what he means. You could count on his judicious statements. Compassionate, extremely compassionate towards people, and trustworthy. Not someone that would do something behind your back or say one thing and mean another thing. Next question is, what topics of conversation do I get most enthusiastic about? Discipleship-driven conversations is what I said, and legacy. And what people may not know about Aaron, when I say legacy, it's like, he wants to own his home in the next few more years, be out of debt, wants to have a second property, wants something he can give his daughters to help in their future. So it's very legacy driven in his own personal life. What quality is most important to me in friendships I have? I'd say accountability. And reason why I say that, because historically, when Aaron held certain friendships accountable, they weren't healthy. Like those individuals didn't take it well, and that hurt you a lot.
For sure.
What emotion do you wish I'd show more of? I said rawness. Not every emotion has to be so well evaluated. But if you ask Aaron something, he'll be like, "Let me get back to you," and I'll be like, "No, but bro, just you don't have to get back to you. Just well, how do you feel?" Well, that might not be the real feeling that I have. I need to think about it for a few years, and then I'll let you know.
All right. So we doing H?
Oh yeah, well we could
Or
do H.
H is answering me. What are we doing?
Well, whoever's ready. Yeah, whoever's like, oh, I feel like I could go.
Okay, then you go H. Or do you feel the...
I'm ready to throw him right.
He's learning it for the first time, so maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah. All right. Could you do me, Aaron?
Okay.
Would you have those on your?
Yeah.
Pretty easy to.
What do you think I
refresh?
find important based in my life, based on daily conversations? Adam loves the word new, like something that's in stage 0.
Mm-hmm.
He's already figuring out a way to use it, to hack it, and to change the world with it. So he's thinking about what's new. He's thinking about his family every single day. He's thinking about his wife. He said it in the sprint yesterday, or you guys compliments are okay, but if my wife follows me her passport, and I know that off stage, like you really get excited when your wife's happy. You really get excited when you're spending intentional time with your boys. So I would say new, I would say family, then I would say like kingdom. You don't just think patria, you think kingdom. So it's like, how can I use what God has given me to help others in the kingdom of God? So the kingdom, family, and new. 3 words to describe. Okay. Creative, innovative, leader.
Well,
It's because you're a hybrid, because it's like highly creative people like you aren't good leaders.
yeah, for sure.
I'm just being honest. Like,
Yeah.
highly creative people tend to be so insecure that if they're not in control of the environment, then how am I gonna lead? And leading is giving up some control to get the best through others. So there's this hybrid in you where it's like you can full throttle that with more creativity, but like in 3 years from now, if you're the only one doing that, how will it?
Yeah.
So I see you broadening the table as God broadens what He can trust you with.
Yeah.
That's what I would say creative. That's what I would say leader. What topics of conversation do you get most enthusiastic about? The first thing that comes to my mind is like you wanna see the underdog win. Like you're rooting and giving resources to the underdog. Like you give that person a chance. Like so that's, you get enthusiastic about, like I was thinking about when we were at Columbus Church and he was like, man, this is a dream.
Yeah, he was like,
This is amazing
compared to your guys.
Show her your lights. Aaron, take a picture of these. Like, we need these in Pomona.
Yeah.
So it's like from his perspective, it was like, man, I've been to Rancho. but you're looking at him like, no, man, you are a dope pad. Like, so I've seen you consider, you did it with me at Starbucks 10 years ago. So I think you get really enthusiastic about seeing gold in people and extracting that out. That's what I would say. Well, quality, you really value authenticity. You don't like fluff. You get, going back to enthusiastic, you get enthusiastic about problems. Like, just give me the problem. How do we resolve it? Okay, and then I see, oh, did this? That's where you just went to HQ.
Yeah.
Low quality in friendships, authenticity. Just take off the fluff. Like let's have a good time. Let's not let money be a thing in this. Like, let's create great memories for our brotherhood and our families. Like that. That's what I see for friendships. Like, in friendships, I've told you before that, like, you always look to make room at tables for people. Yeah. And then the last thing, what emotion do you wish I'd show more of? I remember so you shared this either in your preaching or the sprint, the picture of the birds. Right? When you said that picture of the birds, I remember being text messaged the picture of the birds. So then, you being my pastor, you being my friend, I wish you'd show me more of the emotion under that, because then that helps me to just be a better friend.
Yeah. Or, because I didn't say, like, hey, I'm struggling today. Today's a hard day for me, whatever. I just, these are cool. You know, hey, look what's outside my office.
So I was like, there was depth. So there's depth to you emotionally that, like, people love you so much that is like, well, let me help carry that. So that's a recent thing I thought of. Like, if he tells me that emotion, then maybe I could be a better leader by taking something off of his plate today. Not
for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that's fair. I muscled through. I got this similar text, but it was with someone else I said recently, but someone who's a good friend who was on staff said, hey, when I was on staff, I wish I checked in on you more, because I shared when we did, like, Citizens Bank Arena, when we rented out the arena, I shared how no one wanted to help me and no one was there for me, and I had to do it by myself to please my leader, and people didn't make my life hell to do it, because I was 22 years old doing this, and I said, dude, like, whatever I said, and they messaged me, I had no idea. I served at that time. I'm your friend at that time. This was 14 years ago. Like, I never even could have imagined. We celebrated how big of a moment it was for our church for the first time in history to rent out an arena and do an Easter. But he was like, I never thought, well, that had to have been really hard on Adam. How did he feel? And he said, and he apologized, and he said, man, I'm sorry. Even when I was on the team, I probably should have checked in on you more. Now, that's kind, but at the same time, it's like, but had you even checked on me, I probably wouldn't have. Not because I'm closed off and I don't want to share. I'm like, hey, this is sanctification. Like, part of the process. This is life sucks. Like, life has hard challenges. People are petty. Things get hard. Woe is me is not going to work. So it's just more of a grittier personality, and so that's why I agree. I could work on. Because it happens internally, it happens. It's not like I'm so resilient. I don't, fight insecurity or despair, or even feeling like I suck at a certain time. It's there. But then when I come in or talk to people, it's just like, I talked about it before recently. I think it was with Ashley or someone, and I just talked about like resiliency. Like, everybody's resiliency is different. I forgot who I had the conversation with, but they had a question that they feel like they weren't. It was my mother-in-law, because she said every time I'm around people, she said, is it wrong to feel consistently blessed by God? And I said, what do you mean by that? And she said, well, I feel like I'm around people all the time, and there's always a despair, and there's always kind of like a woe is me, and there's always like a, hey, can you pray for this? Can you pray for it? And she goes, honestly, I don't need it. I don't have it. Like, I'm really blessed by God, and God's been good. I don't, is it wrong that I don't always feel like I'm in a bad season? Like I'm in a great, blessed season. And she kind of mentioned, she's like, I know I lost my husband, 5 years ago, but like, relatively speaking, I'm blessed. And my response to her was, you're blessed, but you're also resilient.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. Because I said, not too long ago, your son gave his life to Christ. How long have you been praying for him? His whole life. How long have you felt like he was running from the Lord? Almost 40 years. Your youngest daughter wants to be married. She dates men all the time, and she's yet to find the man she wants to marry. For any parent, that hurts.
Yes.
She's in her 30s. But I told her, I said, why doesn't it hurt you?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you think that's worthy of despair?
Mm-hmm.
You lost your husband when he was 58 years old. Why don't you? And I said, because you trust the Lord more than the average person.
Yeah.
You are extremely resilient. You look at those things not as opportunities of brokenness, but opportunities to pray, opportunities to trust God. And I said, and the reason why I think that's because I feel I'm the same way, is that I got a lot. Like, you want to sit down and learn about how much suck I got going on right now? Like, how much time do you have?
Yeah.
But is it worthy that I need anyone else to carry it? Not really, but should I? Should I invite some people to carry it? Yeah, probably. But do I? No, not always. And I wouldn't necessarily expose it as a weakness. I'd expose it as like high value trusting God, a high resiliency, because I'm also not walking around broken.
Yeah.
But it would benefit my relationships to expose my inner dialogue more, for sure.
Well, the file that popped up when you shared that picture is, well, I text him, well, what happened with my mom? Bro, I'm weak right now. Right.
Yep.
And you were there for me in that moment. So then it's just like that same love, that same brotherhood, that same like, yo, whatever it is. Like, So that's what that's what came.
Yeah.
No, I get. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. And just hearing from the other friend I'm talking about, and this happened recently. It's like, no, yeah, I can. Yeah. Ashley's kind of the opposite. She's like, she has this picture of me that I'm like so strong, so resilient, so. She's like, I don't know what I would do to see you, sad. Like, I don't know how that would fit with her narrative of who I am in her head, So I'm like, okay, that's why I have guy friends, Because you would think some girls are like, I just want my husband to cry around me. I want my husband to this, and Ashley would be like, no, I don't want that. Yeah. H, you got something?
I'll share for you because we're on.
Okay, we'll go on mine. Okay, we're gonna begin.
So the first question is, what do you find important in his life based on me knowing you? I think I've known you,
15 years. Yeah, well, yeah, right about 15 years. 2011. Yeah.
I think one of the biggest draw was you were authentic. Yeah, you were yourself. You didn't sugarcoat who you were. And I think for me, I kind of lean towards people who are real and authentic. So I think that's definitely that you. Like he said, the first thing that came to my mind too was kingdom. You're always thinking about the bigger picture, the big C church, not just Patria, but the kingdom work and that impactfulness, and then family. You always talk about your family. You make sure you have family time, family vacation. Your sons are important. You're at the games, and then you come here for prayer, and then you come here for church. So it just shows you that you're family driven for sure. So that's what I would say for that. And then 3 words to describe your character. I think because you're authentic, you're relational. Like, I think you want people at the table. You're not just solo, just doing it yourself. Yeah, the vision stuff, yes. But I think you'd rather have people at the table than you doing it yourself. So, you're invested in your community, in the circle and in the friendship. And then also you equipping. You're always equipping. I remember when I first came on staff, and I'm like, man, he's so smart. Like, he knows all this stuff. and you're always willing to help others, you know, and then when you're in youth, you kind of help them and just equipping them to learn and stuff, and you're equipping us. So I think equipping is there. And then highly visionary, you know, you have vision, you know, you cast it out, you're consistent with casting it, and making sure that we're kind of future focused all the time, you know. I think one of the biggest things I learned about vision is, you know, you would always cast a vision and have a word for the team, and that word, I would always take that word and bring it to youth ministries. Hey, this is our word too, you know, for that. So that's two. And then next one is what topics of conversation do you find him most enthusiastic about? I would say maybe church multiplication. I think you highly want to reach cities, Corona campus, you know, Alameda, you know, Pomona, and we just had Next Gen weekend. I think you're there, Next Gen engagement from you being the children's children minister, children pastor, youth pastor. I think that's highly still on your heart. Is Next Gen. I think, you know, those topics and stuff like that, and discipleship. You never go somewhere without being with someone. You drink someone with you all the time. And I took that and I learned that from you. And wherever I go, whether it's coffee or, you know, hey, walk with me across the campus. We're just going to go pick up some booklets. I'll bring a youth with me or someone. You know, you always bring someone with you. And so I will say that. And then what quality is most important? Kind of what you said. We're in this tight friendship group, and I think one of those things is being committed to not just spiritual alignment, but also understanding, you know, friendship and relationships in that. So I think that's a good quality that you have in that friendship. Is not only are you real, but you know, you're always talking, you know, about spiritual alignment, you know, and how, you know, you're aligned in your family, and we want to align with that. That's when it comes to faiths. So I would say that. But then the last is what emotion might be helpful. Definitely what you said, right? It'd be good.
Me and Harry both got that issue, though.
I was like, that sounds like me.
Yeah. I'm for sure. When you were saying, I'm like, well, this dude is repeated on H, so.
Yes, so everything Aaron.
That's why I liked H so much, because it was like he and I both are emotionally an enigma. You know, like, we'll get along. No issue is too big of a big issue. No small thing. It's worth anything, you know. So.
But I think you expressed it different.
But you think so?
Yeah, because, you know, when my dad died, like, you were there. Like, that's all I needed you to be there. You were present. You helped, you know, you helped run the service. You were visibly present. That's all I need.
Yeah.
I don't need nothing else. I don't need you to send me a verse or comfort me or pray for me. Like, I forget. Like, you know. And I think that expression, you know, is enough for you to be like, hey, man, I was there. You know, I was present in that moment. I was there.
Yeah. But to some people, they would say I wasn't, you know. But to me, that's about as there as I would normally be. And it works for your personality.
Yeah.
And it works for mine. That's why we've been so close in college, because it was like, I feel like so relatively so much of our, I would say maybe lack of expressive emotion, you know. Yeah, but also like realness. It's like, well, I'm not faking. You want to know how I feel? I'll tell you. You know, like I'm not. You want to say, hey, Adams, how's your day? I'll say, oh, it sucks. You know, like, so I'm not gonna lie. I'm not lying. I'll say how you want to know what's going on. I will tell you. So it's authentic. I'm honest. But, you know, I'm not phony. I don't like have pain and then go like, I'm okay. I would smile on. It's like, oh, I'm stressed right now. You ask me. You know, I'm gonna. And that's always how you've been to at the same time. It's like you ask you something, you're going to be honest. You know, you're not going to be you're not fake. You're not like, oh yeah, things are going great at home. You know, it's like, oh man, no, we're struggling. Dude, the girls, they've been starting doing this, and one's not sleeping, and he's just and it's like, but you're not going to walk up to the table and be like, y'all pray for me, you know, or Aaron's not going to offer that information unless you ask it. Which going into your dad in the funeral, like, you know, that's, I kind of expected, like, well, this is about how far I would want, you know, since me and H somewhat have the same emotional level, I'm good with just being, like, I'll show up, and I think that's going to be good for H, and let him know if you need anything, let me know, and that's it. And H is going to legitimately, if he needs anything, he'll let me know. I don't have to ask. Right, but other friends who were like, you let me down, after a family member died, you didn't check in on me, and you did this, and I'm like, but I went to the funeral, well, no, but you didn't follow up, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, when my dad got cancer, I didn't want no one to bring up anything.
Yeah.
I didn't want no one to ask me how I'm doing. I'm not doing good. My dad's got cancer. I'm not good. Yeah. So every week people will be like, how are you? How's your dad? I'm like, the same as last week.
Yeah.
Stop asking me. It just, and I think that history with my dad in '08 with cancer and like near death was like, I found how I deal with things get really hard, which is I want to see it. I want to know it's there, and then let's move on. Because that's what my dad wanted to do. My dad said, if I have 1 year left, then don't act like I have cancer around me.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't want you in my funeral talking about how sucky this past year was. So when you're around me, joke with me, make fun of me. Make me feel like I'm still human. So I kind of took that into kind of everyone's scenario. For the most part, I mean, my pastoral, I still read the room and stuff, but for the most part with close relationships, when I don't necessarily have that pastor trigger turned on in my head, and it's more just authentic, then I think more of, I'm just going to let them know I'm around if they need. Other than that, I'm going to give them some space, because that's all I wanted when my dad was sick, So, yeah.
For sure. I'll do H.
Let's do
I'm
them.
gonna do H.
Let's go.
Okay. What do you think I find?
Let's alternate. So, like, you and I will go at the same time, and we'll do the same question at the same time.
Oh, perfect.
That might work.
Okay, what do you think I find important in my life based upon my daily conversations? The Bible.
Not alternate topics. I mean, like, you do the answer to the first one, and I'll do the answer to the first one.
That's what clarify. The Bible. Like, met H. Like, how does he have so much scripture memorized? And then, like, we would sit next to each other at church, and you're showing me this Bible memorization app that you had and everything. So just like, your love for the Bible is amazing. The way that you exposit scripture is inspiring. So I could just tell, like, the Bible is very important to you. And then also, like, your wife and kids. So it's like, when I see you post on Instagram, I always tell you offline, like, man, like, Faith and Trinity were just that age. So it's like, it's so cool to see you as a grown dad leaning into those relationships. That's what I was.
For sure. And then I'll add something fresh on it, because I can echo what Aaron said. But for sure, absolutely, what topic of conversations does H find important is definitely the Bible, hands down. I'll save another answer for a later one that kind of goes into it. But what he finds most important, which I've always kind of looked to as admired, is, and culture, it's hit me as well. Like, H has a huge respect for elders, and his mom and his dad, who's gone home to be with the Lord, his mother-in-law, his father-in-law. Like, it's not just his immediate family and his wife and kids. These are the elders of our home. He prioritizes. Like, your mom's down here right now doing the sprint, or she was here yesterday or something. I don't even know the deal, but H is like, because she's up in San Jose or whatever, and then I just see her so much at church functions, and she's just like, oh, I'm staying with my boy, and I'm coming to this church, the church thing, and it's just like, a lot of people nowadays, like, I have boundaries, my mother, your mother, they can't come, they need hotels or whatever. It's just, and that's good. If you need boundaries, do them. But, like, you have a huge honor for your in-laws, and you could tell it's important to you. Having your daughters around their grandparents is important to you, and you can see that, and what's important to you, what a lot of people don't know, I would say, is like the disciplines in your family, like the disciplines in your daughters. You have them read every single day, so it's not unlike us in our house. So like iPad type, I mean, you're legitimately like reading with your daughters since they were like babies, but like like how many books do you think you've read to your girls?
Man, I don't know, maybe over 100.
Over 100? Yeah, that's insane.
What am I doing? Does it?
Say this dude, they'll sit down and it's like they just read and read and read. So it's like that's important, like for you guys, the disciplines of the girls, like that's that you could tell that's important, So that's what I would say with that. Let's go with number 2.
3 words you would use to describe H: loyalty.
Yeah.
H is loyal.
Yeah.
H is discipline. H is discipline. I would say he's deep. Like there's a lot of depth to H, and he's not going to come to the table and just show everything that's on his hands. But the more that he's at the table, you recognize how much safer everybody is because he's at the table.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. He this is the same thing. I would say trustworthy. You could trust them with anything. You could trust them with your family. You could trust them with your children. You could trust them with your home. You would trust them with your life. H is going to take all of that stuff with weight, so you could trust them at the same time. But describe character is, I would say, caring. Heron has an abs of though his care is expressed differently. The dude cares, man. Yeah. He cares. He's not stoked, like you're not stoked. You could say words that hurt H. You could hurt him. He's human. He's extremely caring. It's expressed, his body language, his mannerism seems to be, very overly, non-emotion or whatever, but that's actually kind of the opposite of H, because that loyalty comes from a place of care. Because when he cares for you and he cares about you, then everything else comes. Once you're family to him,
It's either you're in or out.
yeah, exactly, yeah, for sure,
Yeah, middle ground.
yeah. So that's the other word. I'll try to find the other third word, which is like, in the sense of like, is decisive. He makes a very quick decision intuitively. There's not a lot of pitter patter with H. In other words, if you're like, hey man, can you help me out tomorrow at 8? There's no doubt H is gonna probably be there at 7:50.
Yeah.
Or if he's late, you're getting a text. It's decisive. He says yes, it's yes. Whereas other people, they'll be like, oh yeah, you need me at 8, I'll be there at 8. And then 10, you're like, hey, where are you, bro? And it's like, oh dude, I had stuff. I mean, you just need help moving, right? Aren't you? Like when I get there is when I get there. And H is not that person. Like when he agrees to something, like he's gonna hold that through. So there's decisiveness, to him as well. All right, what topics of conversation do I get most enthusiastic about?
For H is discipleship. And then competition.
Yeah, for sure.
H loves competition because he'll lock into basketball, he'll lock into pickleball, he'll lock into golf.
High rocks.
Yeah, yes.
Well, no, what was it? The Deca. Yeah. Dude decided within a few months, I'm gonna go compete in one of the hardest 3 stage races. And he privately did it.
So he's not doing it for.
He went to competitions by himself. It would be like Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
We'd be taking naps after church, and then he would just send us a picture holding the medal. And then we'd be like, "When did you do that?" And he's like, "I just did it right now after church." And we'd be like, if you invited us, we would have went, right? Oh no, And we're like, "Oh, did Cass go?" No, she was at home with the girls. You went to a full-on competition by yourself with no cheerleading section. That's insane. For sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I've honestly never heard of that in my life. Because it's not like you don't have loving friends and family. So it's like there's some people there competing by themselves who just have no one in their life. And there's H with just some of the best friendships in the world. And he's like, I'm just doing this by myself. For sure.
All right.
All right, what do we? I agree with you. That's what he gets enthusiastic about.
What quality is most important to me in the friendships I have? Just don't be fake. Like that's H. Like just don't be
Authenticity for
fake.
sure.
Like H is like,
Integrity and authenticity.
and it's like don't be super sensitive around like
don't be a punk. So he values like, are we in this or not? Like,
Yeah, for sure. There was a I don't know if I can share this line publicly, but I think I can. It's one of the most famous lines that I've ever heard of Aaron. Now, is it the
You probably have to share it offline.
No, I can share it on here. It's fine. It's we were young, we're growing, like
Always trying to protect.
No, because we all said stuff we don't mean. But is it theologically correct? No. Is it one of the most incredible things I've ever heard in my life? Yes. H and I were sitting with someone who had did something extremely terrible.
I noticed it.
And they were crying in front of us. And they looked at me and they said, "I'm so sorry. Will you forgive me?" They were crying. And they really did. They did some horrible things. Hurt a lot of people, affected families, stuff like that. So Heron and I were at their home and they looked at me and they said, "Will you ever forgive me? I'm so sorry." And I looked at them and I said, it's hard for me to do right now, to be honest. This hurts. But in time, in time, I will forgive you. Absolutely. Right now, I if I said it, I wouldn't mean it. So I can't. And the individual turns at H. This is over 10 years ago. And they said, "Will you ever forgive me?" And Heron said, "Forgiveness is for God, and I'm not God." And he got up and he walked out the room. And that is, to this day, one of the coldest lines I have ever heard in my life. But I just like, in the moment someone says something that it just takes you out of the whole moment. Yeah, and I was just there, and I was like, "Wow, that is such a good line." And he wasn't even trying. H, he's not trying to sound eloquent. He's tonguing it. Simple language, simple like it's straightforward. You're not gonna have to read through anything. So it's not like he was sitting there and he was like, "Well, I'm gonna have this little," he wasn't aura farming as the kids would say nowadays. Like it happened, and I was just like, "Dang, that's so cold." And so every once in a while, I'll just be driving and I'll just think about that line. And I'll think, man, that's got to go in a movie one day, something like that. So that's H, because the person was being dishonest and insincere, and he just like H was just like, "Hey, like you're good, just not with me." Like so you're like, "All right, I mean, hey, I'm sorry." Yeah. And I remember, and there was another time I remember someone had said, told Heron, like, another person did something. You be in church and ministry long enough, people make selfish, bad decisions. And so another person one time said, because the topic of conversation was around friendships, whether friendships can still happen, and so I had to draw a boundary and say, "Hey, maybe our friendship isn't going to continue." And the individual looked at Heron and said, I may not be friends with Adam, but when we maintain our friendship." And Heron said, "Adam's my brother. Whoever he's friends with, I'm friends with. Whoever he's not friends with, I'm not friends with. If you thought I was your friend separate from him, you thought wrong." And he's like, "I was your friend because he was your friend." I mean, legitimately said, most of us will be like, "Well, we could be, and let's just take it step by step, and let's just see how things change." H was just like, calls on him. If he gives you a hug at the end of this, I'll give you a hug. If he don't give you a hug at the end, I'm not giving you a hug. It was like, and that's what he looks for in relationship. It's like, for H, it's like there's friendship, there's relationships, friendships, then there's family, and he does truly treat family on it. So some people say family, and then it's blurred. It doesn't make sense. Are they friendships? Are they like? No, like as you would view your own sister or brother, like what Heron says, your family, he will put you to the same category as he would his sister, his brother, his family. Like you're on that same level, you know, which, you know, not too many people are like, right? So, all right.
What emotion do I wish you show more of?
You know, I'd say vulnerability. And the reason why I say that is because I hit this defining moment because I have all daughters, and it's like I want to be this strong example, and you know. But as Eileen got older, and the more I prayed for her future husband, I had to open. But for me, I opened up other areas of my life to her, in my pursuit of praying for what type of godly man she would have. Like I wanted Eileen to see the depths of a man. So I did it for more fatherhood reasons. Like so that's the thought I thought about, because I know how much you love your daughters, and I know how much they respect you. So it's like I think about faith, I think about Trinity, and so I get so curious about prayer for her. Man, I want them to have the God-fearing husband. I want them to be good. I was always praying for my daughter's husbands. But then it's like God just makes it very simple for me. Like, what are you showing? Like, what parts am I? And there's wisdom in that, of course. But it's like swapping failure stories with Eileen happened right before she met Colin. Like, and I'll never forget that. Like, that was during COVID. Like, they were just asked to be like the safest place for my daughter's failures. And then God invited me to open up to Eileen. And that was scary for me. But I think now in the season, she's about to have a baby. I think it just kind of opened up like Eileen's eyes into like, okay, there's depths to men, I think.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I concur. That's me and H's struggle. Well, Cass would love to see H's emotions. Ashley would hate to see them. So that's the only difference. Is his is encouraged to be shown. Mine is him. Ashley goes, I love your emotions. I love that you just show nothing. She loves it, you know. She but that's what comes with the territory. So okay, let's do Aaron. I'm gonna re-tap in with H on Heron's because I felt like I was reading through mine to give an example, and then I didn't actually share the reason. I kind of shared, but more so so I'll share the reasons. We'll go with Aaron, and I'll say this: like, why is this important to do on Beyond the Letter? Since we like, I could have easily been like, oh no, because I did have something else I wanted to talk about, but I think this is important because a lot of people say, oh, I struggle with authentic relationships. I struggle having true friendships. I struggle. Well, this type of conversation is not uncommon for us as friends. Sure. You know, much of what you guys said is not for it. It's happened in a backyard, you know, on a chair before. It's happened in our living rooms. It happens. It's like we speak life into each other all the time, but also hold each other accountable in so many different ways. And we go on vacations together and stuff like that. And we really use those vacation times to like speak to each other's spouses, hold each other accountable. Mm-hmm. We always play some type of game like this, like, hey, you know, what would you love to see more from your spouse or whatever? Like we do that. Like when we all hang out, we do that stuff. So if you want strong relationships with strong roots, then you have to supply good water, you know, and water comes from words, you know, like if our relationship was just based around getting together and watching a Sunday game, well, we could have a friendship, but you wouldn't, the depth wouldn't be that you couldn't go on vacation, you know, you go on vacation together, you'll have to surround it around the football game or whatever it is. And yeah, you could do that to a limited degree. And so, I think just exposing to people, and some men could never imagine affirming another man.
Yeah.
By the way that they were raised. So I can imagine looking at another guy and telling him, this is what I think is great about you. This is what I admire about you. This is also what I think you could show more of. Some men will be like, I'll never do that. That's gay, or that's, you know, like, you know, those men have been, or I couldn't even, you know, well, and their emotion couldn't sustain it too, right? Like, and so it's like, and sometimes you need it, like some men who don't have fathers, and also this works for women too, like
100.
like, you think about how often, groups of women are, a lot of the friendships are around like criticizing or gossiping or whatever, and there's not a lot of life inside of it. So it doesn't sustain longevity, because it's like when you don't have a problem or you don't have someone to talk about, there's nothing interesting to talk about, and so even conversations like this help deepen a relationship that's more, Heron could do something tomorrow that offends me, and I could be like, no, man, he just told me he thinks I have this a great vision of it. Like, there's no way whatever he just did, he meant it to the degree he did, right? It softens your heart and grows. So that's why I just thought in a moment thinking about it, like, no, like when Aaron asked him, like, no, I think that was a great question to ask in text. And then just the fact that it was brought up, it's like, oh, it'd be great to show people, what a conversation like this looks like for people to be able to have, and dig a little bit, because I'm not uncomfortable by this conversation at all, or giving the words at all. Doesn't make me feel any type of way. But it doesn't make me feel, oh, I can't wait till this makes me so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Makes me so uncomfortable receiving praise or giving it. I can't do that. I can't, you need to work on that.
Part of relationships.
For sure. All right. So, let's finish with Aaron. What do you think I find important in my life based on my daily conversations?
Go ahead there. All right. So what I have for Aaron, definitely family, for sure. When you scroll through Instagram, you see Aaron's Instagram. You're always with your daughter riding a bike. Yeah. You're at the park playing pickleball and learning how to play pickleball. You're at the softball game. So that that encourages me too. To see that with my own family, but definitely family, and then leadership. I think leadership is important in the conversation. Just because you wrote 2 books and the conversation we had, it's high levels. You're always talking vision and talking, discipleship through leadership and stuff like that. So, I'll say those 2.
Yeah, for sure. And then, when I answered, it was, like H said, it was family. Aaron is consistently, like I remember having a conversation that it's like, you stepping more into a busyness of ministry. It's like reconciling, like, you might not be able to be available for all of your daughter's things, whether it's and that was like world altering to you, whereas like me, who was raised by my dad, who like this kind of was just at work every day. It was like, man, okay, like I need to have more of that sensitivity, because it's easy for me to just be like, I gotta work, I just can't go to that game. I'm like, I need to find the balance of when to be sensitive, when to be guilty, when to know when to say no, and just the fact that you felt bad, or you've even said no to things. Hey, Faith has this, I can't help with this, and I appreciate that, because that just affirms to everyone else that you need to have boundaries. And yes, for most of us, our life is our job and our ministry, but at the end of the day, you can't take that to heaven. Those accomplishments don't sit before you in your funeral. It's your family who stands on the stage. It's your family who interprets what your life was. So you're not in control. You're not in control of your story when you're dead, but your family is. They're the ones who sit on that, sit there at that eulogy and say what it was really like, what it was really. And so for you, it's your legacy with your girls, making sure they understand to work for things, but also that you want generational wealth. You're just very aware. You're very aware of your ethnicity, and wanting to accomplish something as a Black man that normally doesn't have generational wealth within the Black community, and so that's something that's important to you. So that's why I said family, legacy, and you love ministry. As you've gotten into ministry, you truly love it. Like you enjoy talking about it. You don't go, hey man, I'm chilling right now, I don't want to talk about that. Like it's you do enjoy talking about it. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let's go to the next one. What are 3 words you would use to describe my character to someone who doesn't know me?
So what I have here for your is I put Bible geek. That he penned the term "squeeze" the scripture, being just expository preaching stuff like that. Loves the word, devotions, and all that stuff. I put family again because that's just who you are as a man. You mentioned stories of Eileen and her being in youth ministry, and hearing these stories of you and Erica as youth leaders back on that you were focused on family, back then, and that. And I put integrity. You're a man of integrity. I think when you say something, you hold to that word, but then you also I think that builds character within what you do, whether it's leading your family or being the campus pastor or running. I run by 10 miles around WC. So yeah, but in that integrity, discipline.
Yeah. And I'll share one was trustworthy, which I think is self-explanatory, but judicious, I put because Aaron does weigh he weighs decisions well. He goes back and forth. He asks opinion, insights, judicious. He makes sure that when he makes a judgment, it's a good judgment. Like, if you ask Aaron, like, "Hey, why are you doing that?" He wouldn't be like, "Oh, I don't know." Like what he's doing may not be what he wants out of it, but at the end of the day, he would say, "Oh, well, here's why I'm doing it. It's this. It's that." He's weighed it. You thought it through. You talked to your wife. You've included your girls. So it's very judicious. There's a reason. If you ever see Aaron doing something, there's a reason behind it. And that's not too common. With people. Not too many people are, making decisions based off of good judgment. They're making it based off of just, hey, I think it's a good idea, or I just thought about it today. And your stuff normally precedes weeks, months, or years of processing.
Because
Yeah, exactly. And that's why God gave you a wife, just to put a little gut to the decision-making process. And then compassionate, just from first time me and Aaron met, was because he was opening up his home and opening up a space to men to learn the book of Proverbs, did something called Man Cave. It takes a lot of compassion to open up your space, open up your home, let often strangers use your toilet, your living room, your water, all that stuff like that. It's one thing when they're friends. It's another thing when it's like, tattooed cholos, whose whole face is tatted, who's going through a divorce, and he's in your living room, going through your fridge. It's not that kind of person is worth expelling. It's just that's a stranger. You're just like that. That shows a lot of compassion, and then obviously just trustworthiness in that sense of, you can know if Aaron says like, hey, I can steward that, or I got that, or I'll look after that. You don't second guess whether it's going to be taken out of context or whatever. He's trustworthy for sure. What topics of conversation do I get most enthusiastic about?
I put down a couple things. Running for sure.
Yeah.
He's a runner, track star. Definitely the disciplines of running as well. We'll get a text message. He ran this much mile, and he's we started the run club here at Rancho. And it just shows you that you have a passion for running. Leadership as well. I think that excites you, and then discipleship. Just hearing your conversation, with campus ops, but then on the side, just talking to people in general and their faith journey.
Yeah. So I did say I'll put legacy and discipleship, which we've kind of touched. So I'll the curveball, and I'll add 2 more things. Okay, topics conversation. Aaron loves talking about. He loves talking about time with his daughters. Aaron doesn't gloat about his daughters. He likes talking about time he spent with his daughters. That it's really exciting. It's not like, Faith is like did this and she's the God made her, perfectly with no imperfections, and it's because some parents get excited talking about their kids, but they live in a fairy tale. Like their kids are these perfect angels. You're God's gift to the world, and you're sitting there like, dude, they love talking about their kid, but like, this is obnoxious. Like your kid there's no way your kid is that gifted where they're getting straight A's, captain of football, this, and this, the way you're perceiving it. Aaron's not getting excited that way. He's getting excited about like, oh, dude, let me tell you this story. What happened this week when we went and rode bikes, and we went to the park, and then we laid in the grass, or I went to one of their game, and then this happened and this. So he loves talking about his daughters, and then the next conversation he gets very enthusiastic about, but only we would know that spend time with him and his family and his wife is. You get really excited talking about your wife.
Okay. Yeah.
And you love getting excited talking about your intimacy with your wife. Not, and when I say that, not in detail, you don't be
sharing about intimacy, but you do be like, oh yeah, and Erica too. She loves talking about her husband. Like we can get away, and I'm planning. I'm planning what the evening gonna look like. You just know this dude love talking.
18 years.
This dude love his wife from every inch. And your son-in-law apparently took after that.
Yeah. Them vows, bro.
I've never heard vows like that before. We talked about it here on the podcast
and
before.
Then right after those vows, all right, let's worship.
Yeah. Then they had Carrie Job. This dude, he said, this dude called it. He said, I can't wait to see them toes in the vows or something like that. And we're like, whoa. And then they start making out at the altar. And I'm like, dang. And I lean over at Ashley, and I'm like, they acting like this is the first time they've ever done this before. And Ashley looks at me, she goes, this is the first time they've done that, dummy. They haven't kissed. I'm like, oh, shoot. I'm like, they didn't kiss till their wedding day? She's like, yeah. I was like, oh, well, then go ahead, Playboy. I said, I thought he was talking about the toes because he had been like, he'd been enjoying the menu, No, this man was excited. And then now you're about to be a pop. You're about to be a grandpa.
Yeah, it's countdown now.
2 more months, right?
2 more weeks.
Oh my gosh,
Yes.
What is happening?
Or
Is
this-
this day
or
or
this
week?
week.
It
It
can
could be
happen
this- yeah.
any day right now. Yeah, it's any day right now.
How much time are you gonna need off, dude? Because we can't afford that right now. We need you in the office, man.
I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Aaron's gonna say, "Is there a thing as paternity leave?" All right. What quality is most important to me in the friendships I have?
I put trust and honesty.
Yeah.
I think that's twofold, and I think it could be either or. Just the trust factor, and then also being open and honest with who you are as a person, as well as the friendships and relationships you have.
For sure, yeah. And I had put accountability, which flows into that same thing. It's the trust. It's the, hey, can I trust you with my family? Can I trust you, with me as a person? Are you willing to be accountable? Are we willing to go through an accountability process? All that stuff like that. The disciplines of a friend that it takes to have character and integrity. It's that's definitely important to Aaron for sure. Last one. What emotion do you wish I'd show more of?
I think y'all said it. I think we said it in the beginning. Yeah.
That rawness.
Yeah, that rawness.
Yeah. Yeah, because the thing is, Aaron has emotions. It's just when his emotions are shown, they've been processed. You know what I mean? They've gone through a filter, and they cleaned themselves out. And then, so if he's angry, it's like he made the decision to be angry.
I thought about that because I have work to do in that area, and what I told my wife is like, I was so selfish before that I've made commitments to be a humble man. Like I want to be a humble man. So then in my reflection, it's like I'm afraid sometimes to get angry.
Yeah.
Because I think it encroaches on my value of humility.
For
So
sure.
like allowing myself to, so then what I'll do is kind of like what you said earlier. It's like, no, just be resilient. Like,
Yeah.
I just gotta suffer through this. I'm so blessed. Like, this
Yeah.
is just a part of the gig. This is
Yeah.
a part of the process. So then I made this declaration, Philippians 2, do all things without complaining.
Yeah.
So then, like, I don't complain then.
Yeah.
So then, like, if somebody's that I really trust asks how I'm doing, that foul will pop up. But then it's like my friends, my closest people, you don't need that foul with me. Like
Yeah,
you
for
could
sure.
be unfiltered here, so that's definitely something I'm working, because then in my mind it's like, well, if I do that, am I still being humble? Or am I only because I don't like things only focused on me, because I know what that was like in the past.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now it's like, you had said something the other day, and it made me think. I probably didn't even tell you. We were rolling somewhere, and then you said, "No, hold on. Aaron's saying something about himself, and he never considers himself. We need to listen." I was like, "Oh." It's like, well, that's not really a good thing. Like, wait, hold on, everyone. He never does this, so let's listen to how he's.
Yeah. Literally, Aaron, you said something like, "Here's what I think about that," and then Ashley talked over you, and I was like, "Shut up, shut up." Aaron's talking right now. He's sharing how he feels. We need this. Hold on, stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Because the thing is in the opposite sense, I may not show my feelings, and I may be emotionally stale consistently, but I'm not short of sharing my opinion. I
Yeah.
consistently share my stuff that people annoy me. I'll make fun of anyone on a drop of a dime. Why you do that? What do I'll, man, that's stupid. We're not doing that. We're not, I'll say, I'll do that, or I'll be like, I love it. So I share my opinion freely but I don't have a lot of emotion. You have a lot of emotions. You share like, oh, I'm frustrated or you're fine tapping into your emotions, but you don't share your opinion often. So that's where it's swapped, And then H doesn't show his opinion and doesn't show emotions. You have to pull all of it out of H.
For sure.
You'd be like, H, how you feel about that? He's like, yeah, it's cool. I'll be, like, hey H, let's go write a 10-week curriculum on Galatians. Yeah, all right, I'll see you in 2 weeks. And he just walk away. Literally, he just walk away.
Literally.
And just like get on the computer and then blah 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 blah, and then he'll just come back and be like, hey, there it is, and then he'll just walk away. He's just like, yeah, that's it, I did it.
Didn't sleep for 72 hours.
Yeah.
Impacted his workouts.
Right. He's like, whatever, I did it. So yeah. All right, well, hey man, that was great conversation, y'all. Yeah, thanks for joining in on that. And
Maybe we put the questions in the show notes.
yeah, but
And then
we'll
people
try to
do it
put them
in
in the
the
show notes
communities,
and find someone to do it. Maybe do it with your spouse. Do it with a couple friends. One of the things we do. I'm in a leadership cohort with other pastors, and one of the things we've done is we've gotten in a circle, and it was. And it was just as simple as, like, let's just say someone said, like, well, I don't know enough about a person to do all that, right? So what I've done before with guys that, now we know each other very well, but like we had only known each other like twice, was what have you observed that they are incredibly gifted at? And what have you observed that you want to encourage them in? And so we just went in a circle, and you could hang out with someone for a day, and you can kind of at least have some type of semblance of that. And so we went around and it just affirmed everybody, and it got to me. But what happened is like it went like, okay, it would go on the person, and then every person took a turn doing it, so it was like, okay, we're on Adam. And then when you have 8 people, going, you're brilliant, you're creative, you're innovative, and you hear it, but then it's also, why are you so scared of your voice? Why you talk last? Why are you so quiet? You know, and then you go, okay, you feel so affirmed, but then you also feel like, okay, well, what? You know, why am I? You know, and all that kind of stuff like that. And to your point, for me, whenever I hear that, because in most circles I come outside of our circle, because in our circle I have to lead, I have to talk, I have to. When I'm in other circles, it's extremely quiet, last one to talk, all that stuff. And then in almost every circle I've ever been in, they've always said, you need to talk more, you need to speak up more, all that stuff like that. But I don't want my passion, because more than likely 9 times out of 10 I'm more passionate than anyone in the room, like in terms of excitement, and I don't want that to come off as like arrogant. I don't want that to come off as prideful, like, oh look, Adam's got an answer for everything, or look, Adam's got an opinion. So I just go like, I don't want my personality to be misconstrued with my desire that I want to problem solve, you know. So I start itching. Someone's like, you know, oh yeah, I'm trying to do, and I know for sure, like, oh, I can help them with it. I'm like, okay, I just sit back, Adam. You don't have to have an answer for everything. You just sit, you know, and you know. So now, like, even some of my, you know, outside pastor circles, they've learned they have to go like, Adam, you got any thoughts on that? They won't do that for anyone else, but they'll do that for me, because they know I won't give it, because I don't want to come up, and then I'll be like, well, yeah, you know, and then I'm gone for 20 minutes talking about it, you know, so.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think you did that exercise in staff. We had a staff meeting, and we had
did.
to affirm.
Yeah,
and
yes,
that
we did a public
it
affirmation.
kind of, the walls came down, so I think it'd be good, you know, if you have
Any
staff.
circle can do it. Yeah. We did a big staff meeting. It was like, hey, you want to affirm anyone in the room, speak life into them. Let's do it right now. 60 people in the room, and, you know, probably 20 people went. And some cats were crying, and some people, you know, hadn't been affirmed in a very long time. So, you know, it's really dope to do that kind of stuff. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You could do that with a group of teachers. It's so easy. It's so easy to speak life into people. People, like, they don't even understand how easy that is, just to open up a space. Because everyone always is concerned with equality. Well, what happened if one person doesn't get affirmed? Okay, well, they got to be a big person and not be affirmed that day. You know, like, you know, because it's just like, if you have 80 people, open up the floor for the first 15 minutes and be like, hey, anyone want to encourage someone in the room that maybe you've seen them do something that they don't know that anyone else saw, or maybe they solved a problem that you want to make everyone aware of how precious they are, or gifted they are. Floor is open. You get 10 people doing it, those are 10 people that just are walking out, you know, head in the sky, you know, feeling blessed. Like, just do it, you know?
Yeah.
Rather than not. Like, well, how can we get through all 80? You don't have to, you know? Yeah.
Organic is best. And sometimes it's just not your turn.
For sure.
It's just not your turn.
Yeah, I've been in so many things that I've hoped, like, oh, maybe someone will say something about me, and then they didn't. And I'm just like, all right, Adam, it's not about you. Get out of the room. Go ahead, get out of here, dude.
H, have you ever asked Adam something? Just, you thought it was random. Hey, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about this situation? And then, like, boom, he has a chamber of, like, deep level thoughts ready to go.
Yeah.
That happens often.
For sure.
Like, why didn't I just ask him earlier then? Like, he has that intel.
I got
He
folders.
has a memory bank just lined up.
Yeah, it just sits there with just like, that's why someone asked me the other day, have you ever thought about wanting to do Spanish? And I said, the amount of memory commitment I have to make to it, I'd have to delete stuff that I don't want to delete to learn Spanish. So I've just chosen to sacrifice that because, well, I'm like, my hard drive is full right now. It's not full, but when it fills up, I gotta delete stuff to add more stuff, you know, depending on what I'm learning right now.
For sure.
I'd have to look at what I'm learning right now. I'd have to be, well, for me right now, we're in a leadership sprint. So everything for me right now is leadership focused because I'm trying to, I want that muscle sharp. So I'm on everything leadership, listening to all my Maxwell stuff again, all my Carry and Do Off stuff again. I'm just stretching that muscle.
By the way, go to patriotsprints.com if you're interested in leadership, because I think Adam did a really brilliant job giving language to leaders that aren't in charge, just questions that you can ask, how to provide solutions in a non-threatening but honoring way. I thought that was just excellent language
Thank you,
on
bro.
help, because not everybody's a CEO, and you don't have to start as a CEO. And you can live your dream by helping the CEO, right?
For sure.
Like, there's space for that.
You help the CEO. CEO is going to want to take you with him.
Yeah.
You know, like,
So that was gold. Like just hearing language provided on the practical application of leadership when you're not in charge.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to do with this sprint in particular. There's a lot of leadership stuff out there, but most of it is for the person who desires to drive the ship. And all of my quote unquote promotion in life happened when I wasn't the ship driver.
For sure.
It was when I was a great co-pilot, and just co-pilot vision for my leader. There's very few cases that I've ever got to be like, okay, inception, team, budget, finance, approval, and execution had everything to do with me. Not with me, but like involved me as the leader. It was, hey, you get no team, but you get the project and you get a little bit of money. Like, what are you going to go do with it? And I had to take that influence, and I had to take that project and garner influence with people that had the power to make me look good, to complete the project, because I couldn't do it by myself, and just so forth. So it's like so much leadership content, or even in church stuff. I've heard stuff. I go to stuff, and not criticism on them. A lot of the stuff I'd hear, I'd be like, man, this person who has 4 bosses above them is not this isn't have the right wherewithal to make the decision. They're like, I can't make any decision. I'm not allowed
requisition.
I gotta ask permission to make a decision. It's like, well, what do I do with that? So it was
but
like,
you gave the language, serving before steering.
Yeah.
No matter if you're a nurse, a pastor, a fireman, a painter, like that language and that framework of garnering more influence through that.
Yeah.
Not only is it biblical, it's just wisdom.
Yeah, thank you,
It's what Daniel did.
Yeah.
He served with an excellent spirit, so he became a boss. That's what Joseph did. So it's like utilizing that simple language to help leaders that aren't in charge. PatriotSprints.com.
Yeah, thanks. Are they on there already? Is Alizé in here?
I looked this morning. That one's not.
But the previous week is.
The other 3 is. The other 3 sprints are. So.
Oh, but the leadership sprint isn't on.
Yeah. So am I doing false
You might want
advertising?
to email it. No, it's supposed to be on. We did an episode talking about this, not a whole episode, but before it started, we hint dropped, and at the time, Nancy and Alizé told me it would be on the website weekly. Updated. So if it's not, we just got to look at it. This episode doesn't come out for another week or so.
Okay.
But we do need to tap in then and see where the previous 2 was, and where. I know Nancy's on vacation right now, and she was the one helping with that course program, so that might something to do with it. But yeah, we'll look into it, because the one that by the time this episode airs, if we're able to get them at PatriotSprints.com, all the leadership ones up in time. If you can go find you can find all our other ones though if you want. We'll be on there too, but. This next one I'm doing is I'm doing it, many people know I've already shared, but I'm doing it on social media, how to leverage and also understand your social media as your voice, your personality. Brand. It's who you are, It's not a perceived self nowadays. People look at it as though it's you, and what you like, what you comment on, what you share, what you post, what you repost. People are weighing you against your leadership position, and it either speaks to value it and enforce it, or it de-enforces it, and so being very conscious of what that looks. But what I'm also going to do, because as I'm writing it, I'm like, I got a little time in this lesson. I'm going to do finding your voice as a leader, because a lot of people they don't know when to talk, how to. People walk up to me all the time, like, I feel like I have this idea or this capacity to lead. I don't know how to talk to people. I don't know how to talk to my boss. I don't know how to. If I'm on a team, I get scared to share my idea. What if it gets shut down? And so I'm going to hopefully speak to some people to be like, man, just speak up, like find your voice. So give some practical elements on how to, because I think finding your voice also blends into social media, because social media is, it's an extension of your voice, and so, be conscious of that, So that's what that next one's going to be. So it'll be twofold. So should be good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Sounds good. Yeah.
All right, y'all. Thanks for joining us today. Peace.
Peace.